Hello, hello, welcome back. I am the comic book ASM artist, and today we're just doing a little hour-long Q&A live stream here. I'm a little late, I guess by 5 minutes or so. So we're going to wait for some people to come in, and then we're going to answer questions here. I see Pewdie's made it in. Welcome, Pewdie Jr. He is first. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I was on the fence about doing a live stream tonight. It had been, I think, about a month since my last one. So I'm going to try to at least do one live stream a month. Hello, Keem. Welcome. So, yeah, I'm going to try to at least do one a month. I might do more. So they'll be about this time. They'll be, 7 Seattle time on Thursdays when I do them. I can't commit to every single week. Sometimes I might get to do more than one a month, but so that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling the live up on my phone as well, just because sometimes there's a delay and an issue with that. Hopefully I sound okay, and I hope you guys can see me okay as well. I noticed on my last live stream there was like a lot of glitchiness. We have since put in some Wi-Fi boosters around the upstairs, so hopefully that is fixing the clarity issues with the picture and the sound. If not, I think we're just going to have to start doing lives again down in my bedroom on my phone. But hopefully we can keep doing them up here because it does provide, a better outlet. And I don't have to wait for everyone to be quiet and all that sort of stuff. So Pewdie and Keem both says audio and visual good. So good. I hope that continues. So we're in here. So any questions you guys have? We've got Pewdie and Keem are my mods. They've been with the channel for a long, long time. I'm super appreciative of everything that they've done for me regarding comments and stuff like that. So that's why they're moderators. So I really do appreciate them. Are you twins? You could be, yeah. So do you guys have any questions or anything? And I'm sure some of you have noticed I was able to do more uploads during the week this week. My family is out on vacation right now, but I stayed behind as an act of solidarity to the staff at my workplace because all their vacation, unfortunately, was ended due to the COVID stuff. So I could have gone with my family, but I chose to stay in support of my staff, as well as concerns of being in another state for 10 days and that sort of a thing. And we care for individuals who are a little bit more fragile to this sort of thing. So I want to be considerate of that as well. So I'm missing out on that vacation, but I've been able to, be able to put some more videos out for you guys. So kind of what, I don't know if you've noticed the pattern with everything, but I'm trying to, ideally what I want to do is put out, I want to say 3 or 4 videos a week. So I think 3 videos and then a live stream on Thursdays is what I'm trying to do. Let me pull up. I've actually made a note on my calendar on my phone here of when I basically put a recording schedule in here. So yeah, so ideally Mondays there'll be a video. Tuesdays will be one of the reading videos. Whether it's going to be whispered or soft spoken is unclear. Thursdays will be the live streams, and then Saturday will be, either my comic hauls or art books, that sort of a thing. So I might make the Monday ones where they're all like just the sounds videos with no talking, trying to, do a bit more different things and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. So Matthew, welcome, buddy. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do that. As far as views and everything, they're definitely not on the same level as a Saturday video, but I expect that just because my Saturday videos are just kind of established as, the regular videos. So I get more views on that typically. So, but I missed this past Saturday because I was helping my family pack for this trip. So my numbers right now are looking about what they're looking at when I just post the one video on the Saturday. So it's like, well, it's the same amount of views and in minutes, even though I put out 3 videos instead of 1. But, I think I'll see more of the impact when hopefully I can continue with the same pattern in the next couple weeks or so, and hopefully it'll continue to snowball. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, so I want to see some more growth for sure. I was hoping to hit at least 2,000 or close to 2,000 by September is when the channel's anniversary is, as far as uploads. I know earlier, like my first technical post was like in April back in, I forget, I think 2017 of a previous catalog. But when I started doing regular weekly uploads and stuff, that didn't start until September. So that's what I consider the channel's birthday, is really around September, the later part of September. And then I hit my 1,000 subscribers last year around that time. So I'm trying to basically get it done by that time if I can. But of course, I can't do it without you guys' help and support. So anything you can do is greatly appreciated. I'll keep making content, and you just keep sending people my way. Let me look at comments here. So Matthew, how's everyone been doing? I've been gardening and illustrating this week. Very cool, Matthew. Anything in particular that you're drawing here? Let's see here. Let's say planted a rose bush by my shed and starting an ink pen drawing of Jack Knight, Starman. Okay, very cool. So this is, I'm assuming that's the Starman from the 90s series. I could be wrong. The one who's got like the goggles and stuff. I've heard a lot of good things about that, but I haven't personally read it. Going back to the other question here, JoJo's twin is here. Welcome, buddy. Appreciate you being here. I've seen you comment on the last few videos, and we're glad that you discovered your channel, and I'm appreciative of that. So let's see, what's that on my shirt? So on my shirt is this is the 15th anniversary of the Emerald City Comic Con. This is from 2017. I've been since I want to say 2013 was the first one I went to. So I've gone to quite a few of them. I'd say I think 6 or 7 of them now. So I've been to quite a few of them, and I'm a huge supporter of that Comic-Con. I've met a lot of great people from it. So I always, anytime I encounter anyone who's wearing like a geek or nerd shirt or whatever, I'm always like, hey, have you heard about Emerald City? It's usually go on sale around October-ish, and then it happens usually March, April-ish, around Easter time. Usually Easter weekend is when SakuraCon is. That's the anime convention, but usually Emerald City is before that. So, but man, let me keep reading here. So really enjoy it, man. Thanks for making. Oh, you're very welcome, Jojo. Yes, hopefully we'll be seeing more stuff like that coming. It's just been difficult. Basically, whenever I got this new mic, it's super sensitive. I know, it's pretty much the standard everyone uses, especially when they're starting out, is a Blue Yeti. But I had another mic before this. It was called like the Rode Mic 2 or something, which literally it just plugged into the bottom of your phone, and it was like a shotgun mic. So it wasn't super sensitive. It basically picked up whatever it was pointed at. So it provided good as far as like audio is concerned with a single voice, but it didn't pick up like a lot of crinkling, tapping, that sort of stuff. So also what it didn't pick up was life going on around me. So as soon as I got the better microphone, it was harder for me to be able to quickly pull out those other sort of videos, because I have to edit and post now on this. Before, I would just record on my phone and the audio was already on the phone. So I would just do a little bit of clipping on here and then just post it right to YouTube. But now I have the footage from the phone that I combine with the audio, blend it together and pair it and cut out snippets. So, and then there is the buffering time for saving the edited video and then uploading as well. So not as quick of a process as it used to be. So that slowed down as far as how I used to do videos, which is why I can always guarantee at least one video a week, but I can't overpromise because I don't want to disappoint. But hopefully, since we're in this space now, we're kind of working out more issues with the lighting and sound and stuff like that. Hopefully, we can do at least, like I said, 3 a week, possibly with a live stream inserted on that Thursday. So fingers crossed on that. Let me keep reading here. 90s Starman, really good series, introduced me to both 90s and Jack Kirby. Very cool. Yes, we're big Kirby fans here. If you didn't know that about the channel, Jack Kirby is my favorite artist of all time. I know that there have been others who've come after him who have been, more detailed or whatever, but he was really just a pioneer. He helped create and shape a lot of the characters most people really enjoy and love. Everyone really thinks about Stan Lee, but unfortunately not so much Jack Kirby. So I always like to raise the awareness with a lot of the stuff that Jack Kirby or that Stan Lee wrote, Jack Kirby drew, and most of that was a lot of Kirby's imagination, and then Stan would go over it and put dialogue bubbles once it was all said and done. So Kirby had a lot going on with regards to creating for both DC and Marvel. Marvel, I would say, has a lot more characters that he's known for than DC, but he has created a lot of cool stuff for DC as well, including like Darkseid and stuff. So let's see. Oh, he got you into wearing leather jackets. Nice. Yeah, I was a big fan of them too, but the Fonz from Happy Days actually got me into wearing leather jackets. We had there was like a 60s day or something we had in middle school, and I petitioned with my mom. I was like, please, please let me get a leather jacket. I promise I'll wear it all the time. But it was a more expensive item because it was an actual like real leather jacket. It wasn't a fake one. So I pleaded with her for me to get this jacket. So she bought it, and I wore it pretty much nonstop. It was like the brown leather and stuff too. Eventually I switched to a black leather one, but I wore them a whole lot. And it was in Mississippi too. And Mississippi is not known for being typically chilly. So to be in a heavy leather jacket for about 80% of the year, not so smart, but I did it just because I liked like the look and everything. And yeah, so a partial promise too to my mom about wearing it more than just the one time for the special school thing. So can you turn the gain up and down on the Yeti yet? Yes, I can. So right now I've got it where I consider a good speaking volume. Looks like my camera is, there we go. Looks like, I've got it where I consider it a good speaking volume right now. And I turn it up when where I'm doing whispering. So I've got it at the volume where I consider it good for speaking. Let me know if it's coming across okay on this stream, though. I will up it if you want me to, but I've actually went ahead and marked on it what I considered the proper gain for whispering and soft spoken. So yes, the New Gods indeed, Keem. That's Kirby's big DC contribution. He sure does. Kirby deserves a lot more credit. Welcome, Ambi ASMR, and thank you so much for the well wishes. So do any of you have any questions or anecdotes or anything you want to share? Stuff has been pretty much business as usual around here. I've been focused really on just kind of getting the house where it's nice for when everyone else comes back. I've got a lot of other things that I want to do, but I'm sure you guys have realized, like I try to be really considerate of other people. I tend to put myself last a lot, which is not ideal for everyone, but that's just kind of who I am. I like to put others above myself. So because of that, I haven't done like a whole lot of goof off type stuff. I still have like 4 or so new games that I haven't played. I've got like 3 Assassin's Creeds that I downloaded for super cheap that I want to complete. I finally got the Phantom Pain Metal Gear Solid game to play. I think I got it for like $5 or $7 from the PlayStation Network. And then I've got the BioShock trilogy as well. So I've got all the stuff that I bought for super cheap when Sony just had their big summer sale. Their Days of Play, I think, is what they called it. So I've got all these games like waiting for me to play, and I haven't touched any of them, even though I want to right now. And then I want to do some drawing and stuff too, but yeah, it's one of those things. But hopefully I'll get to do some more of that too. I think we're really at a space now where I finally feel comfortable with the studio setup. There's a little bit, to do behind the green screen here and stuff. Basically, we're splitting this between me and my wife. So she gets half the room and I get the other half. So her side doesn't really have much in the way of her stuff yet. We don't even have like her desk up here or anything. We just really have food storage behind us right now. So that's what's behind here is just a ton of like just in case food. And then there's a table that I need to actually get downstairs to have someone in the neighborhood usually will pick up whatever we put on the curb for donation. So nice big heavy solid table I've got to get down the stairs and put out on the sidewalk. So some of my favorite comic series or storylines. So I love a whole lot of comics. I don't know if I can go into all the details of every single thing on the stream, Matthew. But I mean, off my cuff here, I'm known for being a huge Captain America fan. Haven't read a good story from him in a while, though. I would say my last favorite run that I enjoyed from him was the whole Ed Brubaker, Steve Epting stuff. I have a whole video that goes into like a show and tell of all my favorite books and stuff. It is a rather lengthy video. But if you click on my playlist for, I think it's under show and tell or possibly specials, or it's actually even on my most popular, I think it ranks between, it trades off with my action figure collection as number one viewed. It's always trade spots back and forth between that. So if you click on my most viewed videos tab in my playlist there, you'll see it. It's lengthy, but it goes into more detail. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Jack Kirby stuff. Love Jim Lee, love Todd McFarlane, Kevin Eastman, Ninja Turtles stuff, Spawn, Spider-Man, huge Batman fan. Batman is like tied with Captain America for my favorite superhero. And the only reason Cap wins is basically 1990. I got gifted a Captain America Toy Biz action figure, and that started my collecting of superhero stuff in general, and just kind of snowballed from there. And at the time, there wasn't a lot of Captain America stuff on the shelf, so I thought it was just really unique and interesting, and I liked how bright he was. I was like 5 or something at the time, so it just really drew me to the character. So let's see here. What else do we have? BioShock and Dark Souls are some of your favorite games. Very cool, Keem. I've heard of Dark Souls. I don't think I've played it. That's the one that's super hard to my understanding. I'm not super skilled with games. I like games that are definitely more story driven. I do like old school games, but I suck at them. As you guys know, I did my Tick Let's Play, a little bit of the game capture there. We got through an hour with the Game Genie in there. Without the Game Genie, I'm sure I would have died even sooner than under that hour or so. But I like to play games. It's just I'm not particularly good with coordination and stuff, I guess. So I like games that are more story driven than about skill. So headset mic, because it's not that bad and I don't know what mic to get. What would you recommend? So I mean, for what is it, Kamihito, I would say the Blue Yeti is like the most recommended standard one. It picks up everything really well, but you do kind of have to be more mindful of what's going on around you with that. But if you do just want to focus on a singular target with the talking and stuff, you could go with what I used to use, which was that Video Mic Me from Rode. But I would say your best bet is with the Blue Yeti here. It's just kind of the beginner one. It's safe, it's easy, it's a USB, so you just plug it right into your device to capture the audio. Super easy to use. So I would recommend the Yeti. So, and it's usually, I think it's usually around $80 or so. And the little Mic Me Rode thing is usually around 50. So, and it has like a little fuzzy dead cat, as they call it, that comes with it too, to get the wind and stuff out of your mic. So welcome Lightlock. Welcome Annabelle ASMR. Ambi ASMR. She says hello to Annabelle. I'd like to know your opinion on The Last of Us 2, if you don't mind. Well, I haven't played The Last of Us 2, and I actually haven't played The Last of Us 1 either. I am a huge fan of Naughty Dog, though. I love the Uncharted series. That's one of my favorite newer franchises. My most favorite new franchise out of everything that's come out in the past 10 or so years or whatever is the Assassin's Creed series, but Uncharted is definitely up there as far as like story wise and everything. I just really like Nathan Drake and stuff. I like how the previous game ended with that. I would like to play The Last of Us 1 and 2. I know that there's controversy and stuff surrounding The Last of Us 2 because you play as the girl mainly and not so much the guy, to my understanding. But I mean, I'm intrigued by anything that Naughty Dog does. So yeah, I can't really thumbs up it one way or the other, but I'm curious to play it for sure. Let's see here. So I've been reading a combination of Superman, Blue, and Guy Gardner Warrior. Both of them are occupying me during the outbreak and my recent separation from my girlfriend. Sorry to hear that, Matthew. But yeah, I've been trying to keep up on a lot of stuff too. I have impulse bought a lot of trades because we've gotten like bonuses and stuff at work for being essential workers and everything. So I've just been kind of bucket list getting trades and stuff. So I've gotten just a lot of things that I've always wanted that I've never had the extra funds to. And then with the shops being closed, the comic shops being closed, the money that I would typically spend there, I've been able to allocate and use the trades and stuff instead when there haven't been any books. So I've been catching up on like Cerebus, and I just got like the entire Hellboy collection, all the omnibus for that. I've got the Ninja Turtles old school Eastman stuff. I'm on volume 3 of that right now. I'm still working through volume 1 of Cerebus, but I'm trying to collect it all. And I still have, I think, 5 volumes left, but it gets difficult as some of them are more sought after than others. I had one, it's basically usually goes for around $100. And I tried to get it on Amazon when I got paid last week, and I purchased it. But basically, a few days ago, the seller, I guess, realized that it was worth more than he was listing it for. So he actually canceled my order and then listed his book for like twice the price. I was going to get it for around 50, 60, and I think he put it at like 189 or something insane. So I'm not going to spend $189 on a single Cerebus trade. It was the Latter Days one. That's volume 15. But yeah, so I've got 5 left to get, and I've just recently got some of the earlier ones. So I had like volume 1 for a long time. I got at my comic shop, but then I had like volume 7, and I was missing, all the stuff in the middle. So it's like I couldn't read past volume 1. So that just kind of made me put it on the shelf and wait to get more of them. And I know a lot of crazy stuff happens in that story. And so it's like the first trade is really about him spoofing on the whole like Conan the Barbarian thing, which I'm not really huge on barbarian comics anyway, Conan and all that stuff, which if you're into it, that's cool. But for me, it's not something that this personally speaks to me. So the first volume really makes fun of that. And since I'm not huge on the regular stuff, I can't appreciate it as much. So it makes it kind of harder to get through. But I'm interested to see where it goes, because I know like the story goes way off in left field and stuff, and like I'm a big fan of how his art progresses and the assistance of Gerhard to do the background illustration as well. Even though it's in black and white, like the pen and ink work just looks really beautiful in the backgrounds and stuff that just makes it really something special. So let's see here. Yeah, Pewdie says he's using the Blue Yeti microphone, which is pretty much a standard in the community since it has different tweaks you can make it gain in sensory. Yes. And then there's different modes too. There's 4 or 3 different modes on here as well. So yeah, it's a pretty nice mic. I recently went to a flea market and found a guy selling comic books that looked pretty old for 50 cents a pop. So that's good. The question is, did you buy any of them? And if you did, what did you get? Because It's comics more or less, unless it's one of like the big ones, like Superman's first appearance, that sort of a thing. They're really in the eye of the beholder. It's what the person is willing to pay for them to attribute a worth to it. So it's really hard to determine. You could buy a huge box of mystery comics for like 25 cents a piece, but it's like good luck really like trying to sell those for more than that after the fact. It's just kind of one of those things. So it's really about who wants to read that story like after you're done with it. It's kind of hard to get rid of more obscure ones. So Matthew says, it's all right. My local thrift store has been selling comics and it's been alleviating the pain from my breakup. Superman is helping me keep happy and positive, like Big Blue himself. Yeah, I have always loved how Superman is just very much a positive hero, although that doesn't make him relatable to a lot of people. I appreciate that, the fact that he is, that Boy Scout, as he's always referred to. So I'm sure you've read like the whole Death of Superman storyline, the death and return of Superman, but that's probably one of my favorite Superman storylines. Superman was my brother's favorite hero, and when I was like a little kid, I always look over his shoulder and pretend to be reading, because I couldn't physically read at that time, but I would look over his shoulder and see all the drawings and stuff. So I always appreciated from afar looking over the couch. But whenever the whole death and return of Superman thing, that's when I was actually being able to buy books myself. So that attributes to like me personally getting some of those books and stuff. So I do recommend that run if you haven't. I recommend like John Byrne's Superman is one of my favorite runs as well. It's earlier too. Jerry Ordway stuff, Dan Jurgens. I just really love how those guys drew Superman. So I recommend that stuff. Holiday weekend, not so much. I mean, I'm going to have it off, fingers crossed. I was put on call for the other house, kind of by accident. The manager thought I didn't have my family out of town. So I'm like, well, hopefully there's no emergencies, because I'm at the mercy of the bus system. So it's going to take me like 2 hours to get anywhere. If I can even, I have to walk half an hour to get to the station to then get to where I need to get to. So hopefully nothing happens. So, but yeah, hopefully I'll be playing some games and stuff. I'm going to record my haul video on Friday to post on Saturday. Basically, when I do them, I'm going to try to record the previous day and then, work on editing and all that, and then have it queued up and stewing for release around 2 or 3 o'clock Seattle time over here. Because I found when I put them on earlier, like 10 and stuff, they don't really perform so well, at least usually on Saturdays. So Amy says, thank you to Pewds. I was going through my comic book collection, found a comic called The Witching Hour that said it was originally 15 cents. So I'm not familiar with that, but it's always cool to find random obscure books for sure. My mother-in-law, she got me quite a few random books from her childhood from back in the day, so I have those. So one day I'll show those off. They aren't typically something that I would collect, but they're vintage books, so it's just kind of cool to have these little obscure books. And I mean, they're not in great shape or anything, but they're just kind of cool to have. Oh, Lightlock's a minute behind. That's all right. Mason, welcome. In terms of comic buying, Superman Tick and 90s DC back issues are the comics I've been purchasing. Very cool, Matthew. So yeah, all that stuff I like. I have almost a complete Tick run. I'm missing I think maybe 30 issues or so, but there's only been a little over 100 Tick books, so to be missing that many is still a good chunk. But basically there was a lot sale a few years back on eBay. The guy had all the figures. I even have like Pogs and stuff, a ton of the back issues. So I got the whole collection for around $100. There's also a video for that too. It's in my show and tell playlist. It's one of my earlier videos. It doesn't have a lot of views, but it's one of my favorites. And if you're a Tick fan, I highly recommend to watch that one. It has the older audio to it, so it's using the old mic that I had, the Rode Mic Me, but it's still a cool, relaxing video. It's just a different audio quality. I'd consider it as lo-fi, even though I don't know. But so yeah, I got most of the books there. I've got all the action figures, some Pogs, things like that, and then I got stuff from the newer show that came out. So it's a really cool video if you're into the Tick. Got like 20 for $8. One of them was one of the original Infinity War comic books with Silver Surfer. That's very cool. Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't have the Infinity Gauntlet series, and then I got it on Amazon for like $3. So I'm glad that I stumbled across that. And soon I'll be doing a reading of that on the channel. I want to get through Frank Miller's Dark Knight first, just because I started that one so long ago. And the first part did really well back. It's almost been a year now since I posted that. So I posted part 2 earlier this week, but I wanted to make sure that I, wrapped up that reading before I moved on to another one. And I'm trying to do classic readings, but then I want to do some newer stuff, but it's hard because I don't want to take away from comic sales. And that's a huge thing too. I want to be a positive voice in the industry. I'm definitely promoting you guys to go out and buy the books you like and stuff. I don't want you to say, oh, I'm not going to read the new X-Men because I know he's going to read it on his channel. Like, I don't want to be the reason you don't support a series, like financially, So I kind of have to hang back and not like read the newest stuff when I read a modern series. But I mean, I do have interest in reading some newer things that I have been purchasing for the past few years here for sure. Aside from comic buying, I just befriended Chuck Dixon on Facebook after having a brief conversation about Captain Marvel and Jerry Ordway. Very cool. Yeah, Chuck has definitely made a lot of great books. He is a terrific writer. And yeah, so that's very cool that you're Facebook friends with him. Good for you. I don't know about you guys, but I only collect graphic novels. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever you collect. So it's like, since I started the game, doing floppies, like I still buy floppies, but I definitely have enough trades too. If I spun this camera around here, you would see I have 2 bookshelves filled with trades here. I actually need to get some more shelving to put the rest of them in, because I've got books downstairs that I need to bring up here that I can't because I don't have enough room, especially since I'm trying to do complete trade runs of like Cerebus and all the Hellboy ones and stuff like that. Ideally, I'd like to have a shelf of DC, shelf of Marvel, and then shelf of Independence. So that's what I'm trying to do. And then all my like coffee table art books are still downstairs. But eventually, I'd probably like to get those up here too. But it's really about wall space at this point because I have half the room. So let's see here. Could you cover the Three Jokers series when it wraps up? I would definitely like to cover that for sure. I don't know about how soon, because also too, I don't want to be responsible for people not buying the trade of it. So it's one of those things. It's a hard line to walk. I don't want to be known, like I said, as the reason why someone didn't financially support something that they were going to support. So maybe I don't know. Whenever they release the trade, probably I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a month or so after that. That sounds lame, but like I said, I don't want to put a dent in that. And also, too, the shops really need our helps for support too. There's so many of them been hurt with all this COVID stuff. Financially, it's really important that if you have a shop near you, that you visit that shop. We've already had a few close around here. Luckily, it wasn't the shop that I personally go to, weekly or bi-weekly or whatever, but it was still one that was in like downtown Seattle that I had met a friend at. So I was like, dang, remember that shop that we met at before we went to your place? Yeah, that one's closed now. So it was just kind of crazy because you don't think about stuff like that happening until it does. Before I moved here, we were like maybe an hour and a half away from driving to a comic shop. So it's like most of the stuff that I was getting, I had mail order subscriptions from Marvel and stuff from. So I can definitely appreciate the fact of being able to be around a shop, and I don't take it for granted because, like I said, I've been on the other side where I had to wait for a book in the mail that half the time was like creased in half, and and then two, when you get it's usually about a month after it's been on the rack already at the comic shop, so it's like people would be ahead in the story and possibly spoiling stuff. So what do you think about Marvel having to rearrange their movie release due to Corona? Are you worried it might mess with how we will see the MCU? I mean, I'm sure they'll navigate it. They've got enough smart people in the room, I would say. I'm more concerned to see about the direction that the movies take. With so many people ending their contracts and stuff like that, the Marvel universe isn't really going to be what it has been known for these past 10 or so years. They're going to be trying to throw a lot of noodles to the wall and seeing if they stick, seeing if the pasta's done. So we're going to be seeing them doing a lot of experimental stuff, seeing if they can get more people to turn out for these movies. But it's kind of silly because like those movies did so well for their 10 years. Why would you change that formula? I mean, I get, variety is the spice of life sort of a thing, and I get, contractual stuff and things like that, but it's like there's a reason why, all these heroes have been around for 65, 80 years, whatever. Like there's something about those characters that make us want to keep going back. So you can't just sweep them under the rug and say, oh, that arc is done, now we move on to these brand new all different heroes who we don't have a connection with because like they were never on our radar to begin with. Granted, they were able to do it with Guardians of the Galaxy, but that movie was just so quirky and so much fun that it worked. But that wasn't the entire MCU at that point. I feel like if everything that had come out at that point was the same type of way, then we wouldn't have seen that success. But because Guardians was so different from what they were previously doing with those other movies, that's why it worked. Let's see here. Do you have any Green Lantern trades? I do not. I definitely need to, though. Green Lantern's not a hero I keep on my radar much. Once again, I can appreciate, whatever heroes you like and stuff. I have seen some cool books with him. I read Brightest Day, Darkest Night as well, so that's a cool one. I'll probably put that on my shelf for sure. I just don't have it yet. There's still a ton of Batman and Superman trades and like Spider-Man and X-Men and stuff that I really want to. So. And then I want to complete the Brubaker, or not Brubaker, but Malev and Bendis run on Daredevil. I really enjoyed. I want to pick the rest of those up. I just have the first trade of that. Let's see. Oh, and I missed that comment from before, I guess. Do you like Avatar: The Last Airbender? I remember when it first premiered. I think it was actually on the Oh Yeah Cartoons thing. Whenever they would just like pitch different shows. Outside of that, I haven't seen much of it. I do like manga and anime. I don't have a lot of it, unfortunately, because it's really like it's a big investment. Like most anime and manga go on a long, long time. It's easier for me to continue on to collect things like Batman and Superman and stuff because it's always been, something I've done. So it's harder to say I'm suddenly gonna start picking up this brand new thing and doing that. So it's harder for me to sign off on a commitment to all these different mangas and animes because they do just go on for a long time. Although we did just start My Hero Academia, but we're not very far into it. I'm watching it with my kids and stuff. I think we're 12 episodes in. What also too, I have to coordinate it with them. So it's like a lot of times they'll, be doing school stuff or other things. So it's like I have to wait till everyone's schedule lines up where we can all sit down to watch it, which isn't a regular enough occurrence that, we can really make a dent in it. Even with like Dragon Ball, we're trying to get through that series. We're still on season 1. And like, I've tried to start that with them like maybe 3 or 4 times. So, and even with like Naruto as well. Let's see here. Have a Green Lantern mosaic trade and Tick Circus of Mighty paperback autographed by the voice of Sewer Urchin. Yeah, that is I'm blanking on his name. I met him too though, but I got him. I have a giant picture of the Animaniacs, and he was one of the Animaniacs. He was Wacko Warner on there. So what is his name? I'm blanking. I know. Oh, Jesse Harnell, I believe. Been contemplating on either selling or trading them. I would say don't do that, man. You're gonna regret it. I know times are tight, but there's definitely other things you can do, I would say. So, and plus people are stodgy with stuff too. It's like, oh well, it's not authenticated, so it's like you just cheaply, acquiesce to their low balling to get like $20 or whatever that you're immediately going to turn around and spend is just bogus. So I'd say don't do that. Keep it, because you're going to be like, man, I should have kept it, because how many times are you going to see Jess Harnell or whoever, like, and I have those too, the Circus of the Mighty stuff. That's like it's like a encyclopedia of all of the Tick characters. It's very cool, and it's multiple. Well, I have like the floppies. Yours might be the full collection of them. Yeah, you like how they did Far From Home. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I like seeing the heroes interact. Like I think that's the main reason why Marvel, the whole MCU, did so well, is it was really the first time we had seen such a comfortable blending of like different heroes and stuff. It didn't seem forced. It was more organic. So, they would, slowly hint an appearance of a character, through the post credits scene or whatever. It was just kind of nice how they did it. So yeah, for sure. Beauty. Did you hear that Tim Burton's Batman will be returning in the Flashpoint film they're doing with Ezra Miller? Yes, I did. And I'm very excited. We're still wondering exactly which Batman he'll play. They might even go as far as have him be like an older, like how Bruce is in Batman Beyond type of Bruce, or it might just straight be the Tim Burton rendering of him. So, but we do know Michael Keaton is confirmed to be in Flashpoint, so that's huge news for sure. You should watch it. It's awesome. Oh yeah, you're talking about Avatar for sure. I'd like to, absolutely. It's on my list of things I'd like to watch, but will I get to it is the question. And even like when I sit down, like I have tons of things like on my Netflix list, but it's so weird. It's like I sit down and I'll take an inventory of my time and I'll be like, what the heck am I even doing with my time? It's like, I don't know. It's just really odd. But yeah, for sure, it's definitely on my list. I think I would enjoy it. I'm, definitely like stuff like that, and it's like a period piece too as well. So it's in a different time period and lots of mystical elements and stuff for sure. If you ever have space in the DC shelf, you should get Darkseid War or just anything Jeff Johns. Yes, for sure. Jeff Johns is a great writer. Yeah, he did the Blackest Day, Darkest Night. I know he did the Aquaman run. He did other Green Lantern stuff as well. He did the, what is it, After Watchmen, or what was it called? Oh, Doomsday Clock. That's what it was called. Yeah, he has a real passion for the history of DC Comics. So his books are usually very they seem like they respect the source material. It's not, oh, what can I do with these characters? It's what can I build on these characters to grow them, rather than, I want to do my run with Batman and he's going to be totally different than we've ever read him, which, why? What do you think about the new controversial comics that have been released? Which ones are you talking about there, Lightlock? I would love a Tim Burton version of Batman Beyond setup. So would I. I really hope that happens. It would be nice just to see the nod to the original, because that's my favorite Batman. But I would like to see, the Batman Beyond thing come to be too. Would you recommend some Spider-Man comics to me, please? Yes. I would recommend Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man run. The trades are usually, I don't know, it's harder to find, I guess, this stuff. I lucked out. I found a lot of it for pretty cheap through like half price books and stuff. Um, yeah, but I recommend like Todd McFarlane's run. I recommend if you're into like the forming of Spider-Man's foes and stuff, definitely check out like the Marvel Masterwork stuff, the classic Spider-Man. You know, it's always cool to see the very beginnings where everything happened, like the whole um, Steve Ditko stuff and John Romita stuff and all that. Like it's also very good. Um, and I guess it just kind of went a little bit dicey with the whole Spider-Man clone saga in the mid '90s. That's where we kind of really stopped romanticizing so much about the stories. I would say they're interesting, but they're just it's just not the same. But I recommend like for sure the old school stuff with like the classic people who really built those characters. And then I recommend Todd's stuff. Newer stuff hasn't really hit a chord with me. I did enjoy Romita Jr. in Straczynski's run on Spider-Man. I think what was it? Coming Home was maybe the first trade he had done. I'm looking at it on my shelf. I can't read the spine. But yeah, I like that. A lot of people basically like they had to move it to the next arc, which Straczynski's run ended with the whole Brand New Day when they erased Peter's marriage to Mary Jane. So that was not the best move. That upset a lot of people. But I would say all the previous Straczynski and Romita Jr. stuff is solid. I recommend that. The first setup within the first trade introduces a character who is more or less his existence is he's aware of Spider-Man and he's been created to kill Spider-Man. So he's just like this big, menacing, lurking type of character. And then he also runs into another individual who has powers like himself. His name is Ezekiel. So they deal with like a totemic element to Spider-Man, like an actual like spider god sort of thing. So it's really cool and interesting. So I recommend that to you. New X-Men and Snowflake. I don't really know too much about those. I mean, like they're really not on my radar. I try to focus on what I want to buy, and if it's not something I want to buy, I don't really give it much room. Um, I think a lot of it is kind of reactionary. Like they're trying, once again, the spaghetti thing, they're trying to do different things to see what works and draw as viewers. I mean, a lot of people certainly talked about the whole snowflake thing with all those safe space and all those weird type of characters. Will people buy that series? Probably not, but they got us talking about it at least. So they brought a little bit to the forefront, but they're probably not going to land sales with that, and I'm certainly not going to be picking those up. Let's see here. Also, the fact that you had to say which ones is a little sad. Yeah, well, it's, like I said, it's one of those things that if I'm not too concerned about it, nah, it's whatever. Ultimate Spider-Man comics are good too if you're into the younger Spider-Man. Miles ends up in those books. Yeah, I haven't personally read those though, but I do hear good things about them. Yeah, the Decades of Spider-Man are good. Yeah, so I'd say definitely avoid that one, but the previous stuff's pretty good. Aside from the Starman, I've been illustrating May Parker, Spider Girl, and other possible character legacies. I even sketched an adult Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur. That's very cool. Kind of curious to see what that would look like because I know like Moon Girls or I guess you said Moon Boy there, huh? Is there a Moon Boy too? I just know of Moon Girl, the little girl. But I definitely like to see what a full grown version of her would be. That'd be cool. Yeah, and then well, I guess like for newer stuff, I'd say Chip Zdarsky's run on Spider-Man has been pretty good. He did like the Spider-Man the Decade series, which I think that's what you're talking about there, possibly earlier. But basically, it's kind of like a what if Peter kept aging. So it's like Spider-Man in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that sort of a thing. I like bits of the newer run of Spider-Man, but I feel like there's filler issues. Um, he's about to fight a villain called Kindred, which is hinting at some sort of tie to his past. He's kind of got like this secret something about Peter that's just kind of, we don't know what it is really, but they're kind of hinting at some sort of tie to Spider-Man without Spider-Man knowing it. So there's a bit of intrigue with that, but unfortunately, like the current run, not every issue is really good. Just like some of them are good, and then they do like I call them filler issues. So they've been focusing on like his roommate Boomerang and stuff a lot, which I don't really care about because I pick up a Spider-Man book to read Spider-Man, not about his roommate. So, but I've been interested for sure to see the direction with Kindred. They had the whole, what was it called? They just had like, was it Absolute Carnage? Maybe. There's basically like a big Carnage story that just happened. That was pretty cool. I can recommend that one. Clayton Crane did a run on Spider-Man. That was pretty cool too. So if you just do searches, I'd say do searches on some artists that you really enjoy, and then see kind of if they did something for a character you like, and that's usually a good jumping off point. Either do like a mass search on a certain character or a certain creative talent you enjoy, and then that's usually a good springboard to check out a series or a comic. Yeah, I definitely feel like DC, unfortunately, didn't do enough with Sideways. I was enjoying the book for sure, and he definitely had some elements of, being like a tortured youth and stuff, not responding basically when his mom needed him, and she ends up dying, and he holds himself responsible for that. So I definitely appreciated like the dramatic influence of that and stuff. So I did like Sideways for sure. As far as anything else, I would say the Immortal Hulk was pretty cool up till I want to say issue 25 was just kind of where everything came to head, and then they went in a weird direction after that. I'd recommend those. Um, Other Marvel stuff I've been enjoying the Hickman's X-Men stuff. It's kind of different, but I think it's different because basically they're copies that keep being made of X-Men after they die and stuff. So they're not behaving the way they used to behave because they're not like the original squad. They're like carbon copies, essentially. That's my understanding of it anyway. Just trying to see whatever else here is on the shelf to kind of spur a talk here. Not very much in the way of my trades anyway. I saw Spider Island was kind of cool. That was a while back. That might be a story you would enjoy. It's got artwork from, I'm blinking on him now. He's drawn tons of Spider-Man though. But yeah, Spider Island's a cool one. Basically, it's like an area where like everyone's got Spider-Man's powers, and it's just kind of relegated to a specific area. It's just kind of different. All right. Anyone else have any sort of anecdotes or anything for me here? And make sure I didn't miss any other questions here. Yeah, I mean, I'm always reading new stuff, Pewdie. As far as like outside of the stuff you see on my halls, not really. I mean, everything I read, everything on my halls, I try to read. I am behind a little bit on stuff, but we just finished the Deceased Unkillables miniseries they did. So that was fun. It ended on a really crazy note, as the previous series ended as well. It was, I think, a 5 or 6 part miniseries. So those are cool just because, like, they are just kind of a more brutal take on the DC universe. It's just kind of a really grim what if story that doesn't seem to have a happy ending, really. So it's yeah, Death Metal. I just picked up part 1. I'll be showing that off on my haul on Saturday. I haven't read it yet, though. It's on my read pile. But yes, I'm definitely going to read that for sure. And I will read that eventually on the channel. It will be much later, though, because, like I said, I don't want to cut into their sales. But if anyone wants to catch up on the previous Dark Nights Metal, I did read that entire series. There's a playlist for that as well. I've just been reading, the stuff you guys have seen me pick up. So, like Batman, all the Superman stuff, Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles, Spawn. What else? That might be it. Actually, no, I'm reading X-Men still. Batman Who Laughs, he's a lot of fun. I always like whenever they're able to find a new character to just kind of be a big menace. A lot of people are annoyed that they keep using him so much, and I do understand that. Hopefully this might be the end of the road for him at the end of this Death Metal event. But I kind of feel that's why they've been keeping him around. Snyder tends to think a few steps ahead as far as readers and stuff go. So I think he has been, waiting for this series. And I think this will be the culmination of everything else. So, and then they're doing all sorts of little weird one-shots and stuff in this one too. Oh, you have a Batman Who Laughs statue in your basement? That's cool. I'm contemplating on getting at least a figure of him. They're actually even going to introduce him into the Batman animated universe, because they made they've made a mock-up image of it that is eventually going to become a toy. So it'll be interesting to see him even end up in Batman animated series as well, in the Adventure Continues 6-part miniseries. So, but yeah, he's definitely an interesting character. He's fun to look at. It doesn't always make sense with like how the metal thing is right over where his eyes are, but they've explained it before. It's like a special sort of metal that he can see through, because it's this dark metal. So, but yeah, because people are like, how does he see through that? So, but yeah, it's cool. You've got a statue of him. That's pretty awesome. But I would like to get something of him. It'll probably be a figure. I don't know if I'm going to go with the Batman animated one or the McFarlane one that has come out or is coming out. But I know that they're making more for the McFarlane figures too, of the other Batman from the Dark Nights Metal run. All right, so we're going to wrap it up in a minute here. So we're going to do our closing questions and stuff if you have any. Have you heard of Punchline? Yes, I sure have, Pewdie. I've been collecting. I've been lucky enough that, since I'm subscribing to my books and stuff, I haven't missed out on any of her appearances and stuff. I got like the variant cover that was of her. That was just like one that was just her. I got the regular cover for that. I got the previous issue, I think it was maybe 92 was her first appearance. I can't remember. As well as the other series that was a spinoff with the Batman Who Laughs. What was it? I can't even remember the name of it. But I got basically all of her appearances I've been able to get, because they've just been in my pull box, because they're my regular books. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with the character. Hopefully it won't be a throwaway character. There's a lot of people who have been collecting her stuff like crazy, because, we've seen what happened with like Harley Quinn's first comic appearance and stuff. A lot of people are hoping for the same sort of reaction. but we'll see what happens. And part of it too is the value of stuff. It's like it's valuable because not a lot of people have it. So if they're meeting that print demand and everyone has secured theirs, then you're not going to get as much for it as something like Harley Quinn's first appearance, which was in that Batman Adventures number 12 comic, which I don't personally like that one as much as I like the Mad Love story, because that's like her actual origin as opposed to just appearing in a comic. So because I personally think Mad Love should be worth more than that, but it is what it is. That's all part of collecting. It's about those first appearances. Yeah, that's true. He does have echolocation. All right. Well, I guess that's going to do it for everyone here. So there should be a haul video up on Saturday. We're going to try to keep the schedule rolling. Same thing. Hopefully 3 videos a week. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much for coming in and checking out the stream. We'll try to do more of these, but they will be on Thursdays, the same time. And if you've missed the stream, you can always check it out later. Leave a comment below if you're watching this later and let me know what you saw, what you want to see and enjoy. And as always, you have a super slumber. Thanks so much. Bye.